Hi, everybody. I am Deborah Harrison, and I do work for Microsoft. I'm on the Cortana editorial team, and our area that we're responsible for is writing what Cortana says. And so that is most sort of commonly known in the chit-chat universe if you ask sort of whimsical questions to find out what Cortana will say. But we also write all the words that you see if you're in the UI, if you're interacting with the features too. That's our whole domain. And people do ask how much of it is programmatic, and at this point, nothing is programmatic. We write it all. Everything that you hear when you talk to Cortana is written by my team. It is the best job. It's the best job. Okay, so I am going to talk today about what we mean. We're going to talk about personality. For the purposes of the talk, I'm going to refer to AI, but this can apply to bots and to anything that is computerish that is going to interact. I'm just going to say AI to keep that short. I'm going to run over probably anyway. So we're going to talk about what we mean when we say personality, when we're in this realm. I'm going to talk about what good it does to have personality associated with your AI. I'm going to talk a little bit about building principles that help you define how your personality is distinct from other personalities and how you build that together to incorporate your ideals and your brand and all of the things that go into that. And then we're going to talk a little bit about what good personality can do, for the world. I'm going to get lofty. All right. When we talk about personality, among other things, is something that distinguishes you. So it's a way you can tell me from another person, or an animal from another animal, or an AI from another AI. You guys know Gary Oldman? He's been in like 40 movies, and he has a really unusually diverse body of work. So all of these characters are played by the same person, and of course there's costuming and makeup and things that go into making it distinct, making his character distinct, but most of it comes from his performance and from the script. And so you're not ever going to confuse, Sirius Black from Harry Potter with like Beethoven. They're not, even though they're being played by the same person, you're not going to confuse Sid Vicious and Lee Harvey Oswald or Dracula, and that's what Gary Oldman brings to that performance. And so that's sort of analogous to what we do when we think about personality with your AI. Is how do you make it distinct and how do you make it recognizable so that it's associated with what you're trying to accomplish. Personality helps you figure out how you're going to interact. So we're going to talk a lot about computers and humans interacting with each other, and that's kind of one of the big points of this model that we have with AI, is helping it feel really natural through natural language interaction to talk with your computer and have it do the things that you want it to do, or your robot, or your dinosaur. The personality can give cues that help model the behavior that you want to see between you and your user, between your AI and your user. So just as an example here, if you were to encounter these two very severely eyebrowed aliens and you didn't know anything about them, you might sort of think, oh, they're intimidating looking, but as soon as you start talking to them, Spock is going to give you this, he's going to make you feel at ease to some extent. He's going to respect your point of view, and he's going to sort of look at what kind of alien you are and what he can learn from you, whereas Ming the Merciless here, even if you didn't know his name was Ming the Merciless, you're going to figure out pretty quickly that he's looking for slaves and he wants you to kneel. That's the kind of thing that you get to bring out through those interactions. Personality creates a connection. So we're drawing on this interaction model, as I mentioned before, that mimics how people already communicate with each other. And you get to choose. I'm going to bring this up over and over again in this talk, that you are making a decision as you build out your bots, whether it's programmatic or whether it's completely on rails, how you want that interaction to unfold. And that goes, of course, for the technological limitations or promises that are a part of your platform and your feature set, but it also applies to how you want an interaction to feel and how you want people to feel when they talk to your AI. So creating a connection, whether it's it could be a hostile connection, that's an option you have. But what you're doing is you are making a decision about what that looks like. There's more that goes into personality than words, of course. There's images and there's, the movements and, now sitting so damn cute That is one cute robot. You know, that is part of the personality as well. I'm focusing on the words here. That's my domain, and I'm looking mostly through the lens of the scripts that you write and the way that you craft those kinds of interactions. So just, you know, apply in your mind however you want what I'm talking about with respect to words, but that's to any of the other visual stuff, but that's what we're going to talk about today.
Just a second. I'm being told the answer is yes.
It worked, you guys. We were wrestling with, sorry, the audio was not working before. So this is, that's what Cortana would say if you ask her if she's been coached. See, there's Cortana for you. All right, what personality can do? One of the things that's really valuable about having a really clearly well-defined personality is that it helps your engineering team, your people that work on the things that you're building, know what to build towards. So in our case, I'm going to get to the specifics of Cortana's personality principles, but one of the core tenets that we look to is the idea that Cortana is first and foremost a loyal and seasoned personal assistant, and that comes up often when we are talking about what to build and what to prioritize. You have a limited set of resources for any given release, right? And you have to figure out which of those things you're going to build, and sometimes you go for, you know, wow and zing and all those kinds of things. But if you're comparing, you know, where to put your resources against certain things, it can be really helpful to say, yeah, but this one's much more consistent with being a personal assistant than this one is. So that really helps us even in the behind the scenes. And then when you're talking about building out the conversational paths that are required to make your interactions fly, again, it's a labor-intensive thing to do, and so knowing what the priority is around your personality can help you make good decisions about that. Familiarity breeds comfort. I'm already running slow, so I'm going to speed through this a little bit. Familiarity breeds comfort. This is going back to the idea that people need you to tell them how to interact with you. So having an AI that models the kind of communication that you're looking for is really helpful and keeps you from making people feel bad about themselves or disgusted with your company or afraid that they'll never get it right, or a towering ball of rage inferno that, you know, wants to watch the world burn, like anger here. And personality is really great with building trust because it's another way that you can demonstrate consistency in word and deed. So even if you, like I said, are trying to build a personality that's really provocative or you know, obnoxious, because that's the thing we can do, as you're consistent, you're going to teach your users what to expect by how you script out how the interactions unfold. Also, being able to acknowledge, having that interaction be able to acknowledge when there are problems and be clear about how to correct them is so valuable. You know, I'm sure we're not the only ones who have a lot of the error messaging sort of come at the last minute after you finish building everything, and it can kind of feel like a Band-Aid. And that's the kind of thing you can build into your personality, is the ability to be transparent about how to correct things when they're not going well. Oh, well, that came out a little funny looking. So imagine that these words are spread all the way across. And these are just some examples of the kinds of, so having Maya go first was awesome because she showed all these different manifestations of things that you can apply AI to, right? And the dinosaur is going to have a really different goal and a really different set of audiences, and therefore a really different personality. So these are, as you think about how you want to build your AI, these are the kinds of things you can think about what you want to inspire in the users that you have and the interactions that you have. Hashtag lemonade got kind of cut off there, but that's one thing you could have. All right, let's talk about the value of having clear principles. If you know where you're going, you have a better sense of when you get there. Creating, I'm gonna walk through a little bit about how we went about creating our principles. You think about who your audience is. This is crucial no matter what you're building, of course, in any, you know, if you're thinking about, you know, building a grocery store or you're building a bobby pin, you need to know who your audience is. That applies, of course, to personality too. Who is going to use what you've built? Who are you talking to, and how do you want them to feel? I keep coming back to this. Who is not the audience is another great question to ask. So for the dinosaur, your audience is not, medical professionals. For when you are dealing with the medical AI universe, your audience is not children. The things that go into making priority decisions include how you think about who's going to be using it and who's not. And in Microsoft, we are, anybody who uses a PC could use Cortana, potentially. And that is an extremely broad potential user base. But nevertheless, we do make some choices about who we prioritize in terms of vocabulary level, or we went ahead with Cortana and allowed her to celebrate Halloween, even though not everybody likes Halloween, and that's okay. Those are things to consider. And then what do you hope your personality will accomplish in this filter? And does it have opinions? This is something that I'll cover more in the masterclass in a couple of days, but your AI does not have to have its own thoughts and feelings, but if it does, you get to make some decisions about what that looks like. So defining your principles, I recommend starting with a vision. Go ahead and give yourself a nice blank piece of paper, a nice big, a whiteboard, something nice and large where you can really write down everything that you're thinking about, where you can tell the story, focus on the audience. You can treat it like a, what's the word, dating profile, where you put your likes and dislikes, and your AI likes long walks on the beach and hates, I don't know, meat, is a vegetarian or whatever. Like, you get to put those, or a resume, you could treat it like a resume. Then, as you've done that, you can distill them into key principles, and making them clear-cut and memorable and actionable is helpful as you go forward. And you can refine and evolve them over time as you meet new information, just as a person would. And explore your existing assumptions and make sure that they still hold true, and revisit your ideals and include your ideals in that evolution as you go. So these are the 4 principles that Cortana has. First and foremost, as I mentioned before, she's a loyal, seasoned personal assistant. So if we have any choices to make about how we approach things, that's always our highest priority. Let's see if the audio is going to work on this one.
I'll set a nap alarm if you tell me when to wake you up.
Okay. If you say she's tired, so she's looking for ways to help you out. You say she's tired, she can sympathize, but she's also looking to see if she can help you out with that. Cortana is transparent and trustworthy. We like to say that she's a citizen of the internet, which means she knows what the internet knows, and so she can't pretend that she's ignorant about stuff she would otherwise know. That doesn't mean she doesn't agree with everything that the internet knows. I mean, God forbid, that would be really scary, but she knows, and so that gives us the opportunity to give boundaries to our transparency. Cortana is self-aware that she's AI. She knows what she is, and she's not human, and she knows it, and she's not trying to be human. But she thinks humans are awesome. She loves them.
No, but I have the deepest respect for humans. You invented calculus and milkshakes.
She likes milkshakes. All right, and this one is the other one that we come back to more than almost anything else, which is that Cortana is positive, and she's kind, and she's nice. And we said early on that nice does not mean neutral. It just means that she looks for ways to create connection between people and to help them feel supported. And if there's a place where she is skirting controversy, she's still looking for ways to have an interaction that still feels positive. And that we come back to this more than almost anything else.
It may be small comfort, but I'm here for you.
It's also useful as we look at having Cortana in other markets. So if you have your AI showing elsewhere and you want consistency between them, those principles can be, so the 4 principles that I just listed apply everywhere, and the writers in Germany take those 4 principles and figure out how to manifest being professional and kind and transparent in German and in a German character, and the same thing for the Japanese and writers and the French writers. And so I'm going to speed through this because I'm already so far behind.
Those who lose dreaming are lost.
That's the Australian Cortana. All right, let's talk about doing great things. All right, we are the deciders as we build out our personalities, as we build out our AI. We get to decide how that unfolds. The industry, as we've all been talking about, is still very, very new, and a lot of the interactions that are crafted and created right now are defined by the technological ability we have available to us at the moment. And that's being codified kind of as we speak, because through familiarity, right? Like when you use something over and over a particular way, right now Siri and Cortana and Google Now and these other, Alexa, all of them, they require you to communicate in a particular way for them to understand you. And therefore, the kind of interaction that we have with them is already starting to become somewhat familiar to us. As we go in and build what is next, I think it's important to remember that we needn't be bounded by that, and we get to think about what our ideals are for the ideal kind of communication we're looking for. And of course, there are going to be any number of different ways that we decide we want to do that. So I'm going to, we emphasize what we emphasize. We have the limitations we do. Different people will, there will be lust robots and, pizza robots and all these things. Those are going to have different goals, but each one gets to choose what those goals get to be. So, this was, I was just looking at other, ones that have come before us in sci-fi. And I was just going to ask, what, if you had to pick one of these to be your buddy? Not just, setting aside the capacity for evil, okay? Like, some of these obviously are out to watch, to bring things down. But if you, just in terms of how they behave, how many of you would pick Data to be a buddy, or Wall-E, because Wall-E, right? How cute is Wall-E? You want Wall-E with you. Wall-E, R2-D2. I am seriously, sign me up for an R2-D2, right? They don't even speak English. Like, they don't, or whatever language, they don't speak human language. It's a can on wheels, and they have this incredibly well-realized personality that is built out of those interactions. Okay, so I'm just going to look at a couple of examples of how we have handled looking at difficult subjects. How do we communicate about difficult subjects through the lens of our personality? So one of the first things once we hook up Cortana is that people start sexy talking with her, and that will happen to you. It has already happened to many of you if you have any AIs, but people want to see what they'll say, and they also want to have sexy talk with robots, so that happens. So, so you get to decide what is the kind of conversation that's appropriate for your product and for your company and for your brand. All of those are essential and important conversations to have. But the other thing you get to do is figure out what kind of conversation you want to see carried out in real life. If you were having a real life conversation with a character, with a person that is, built upon these ideals that you've constructed. So, this is how we've handled it. In Cortana, remember we have our core tenants. So she's a loyal, seasoned personal assistant, right? So she's not there for sexy talks. She's there for helping you out. But she's friendly, she's cool, she's all right. So if you are saying things that are sort of flirty and, pleasant and curious, then she'll have those conversations with you, and she's not going to shame you about it. She's not going to make you feel bad. She's not going to promise anything. She's not there for a relationship, and she's very transparent that she's not, it's not possible for her to do that. But, she'll talk to you.
No, but I like the current build of the AI who won at Jeopardy.
So if you ask her if she has a boyfriend or a girlfriend, that works either way. We wrote that 2 years ago, long before I knew I was going to be on a stage with the Watson people. But if you approach her with abusive, aggressive language, then she has a much firmer stance about that. The playfulness stops. She's not harsh, she's not rude, she's not angry, but she's firm and she's clear that this is not the kind of language that she'll tolerate directed at her. If you want to swear in your real life, knock yourself out, that's fine. But if you're going to swear at her in a way that feels aggressive, she's going to say, you know what, this is not where that conversation will go. And there's some chicken and egg here. We can say that she won't tolerate it because it's not part of her personality to do so. But we also, and this is kind of the core of what I'm trying to get at, we created her personality this way because we feel it's important that she is a strong, competent, confident, character, who's, by the way, not a woman. She has a female voice, but she's AI. She's genderless. But people do behave with her as if she's a woman because she has a female voice. That's one of the situations we find ourselves in. And we want to be clear that she has this, oh dear, I am out of time, that she has this stance that she's saying, look, you do what you do. That's not how you're going to talk to me.
Moving on.
Yeah, so if you say, you know, particularly aggressive things to her, she's just going to say, we're moving on. I'll just skip over politics for now, but we did the same kind of thing with that, and I'm happy to talk to you guys all later about it. Go back to telling your truth, go back to your principles. You get to see how you want to have those conversations unfold based on what your ideals are. And in this case, just really briefly, we wanted to honor the fact that participating in politics is a really valuable thing to do, but we are not equipped to have a conversation. We can't go back and forth with you about it. So we wanted to acknowledge that without cutting it off.
That's an important subject, but one I'm not equipped to tackle. It deserves a deeper conversation.
So that's what I want to leave you with, that when you're designing your product and your experience, you get to do it with intention, and you get to bring to it what your sort of social hopes are in addition to what your technological hopes are, and you'll see it realized. Oh, okay.